So while we've got to answer then, Chair, I'll come back. So, Mr. McKinley, the 50 positions that are now in COFs, which we know about, okay,
well,
that's right.
40 up to...
Oh, 40, I'm sorry.
in COFs and 69 nationally regionalised, but 50% of the total workforce by 2020.
No, sorry, I'm reading the Deputy Prime Minister's statement where he said 50 positions, but it's 40. Okay, no, you did say that, it's 40. So is it the case that most of these jobs that were planned to be located in, obviously, COFs, as part of AMSA, are assuming full service delivery for the national system for domestic commercial vessel safety? Is that right? Is that the reason why
that is a part of it, Senator. And one of the aspects with COFs is that we will have local marine safety inspectors. And again, one of the reasons COFs was picked was because there's a large domestic commercial vessel presence.
But of the 40 that are out there, how many of the 40 would be doing the national system for domestic commercial vessel safety?
I think we are looking at 2 inspectors directly inspecting, but there will be other functions which will be related.
Because I'm led to believe that most of these jobs are already being done out there. They're state employees. So are you replacing the state employees? I'm just trying to figure out what the 40 will be doing.
No, not at this stage, Senator. We certainly have a service level agreement with New South Wales to do some work on our behalf.
So do you know how many state employees implement the National System for Domestic Commercial Vessel Safety in COFs? Or I'm just trying to think what they're going to be doing.
Not that I'm aware. I couldn't give you that information right now, Senator, because our service level agreement is actually on numbers of inspections that they do on our behalf. But that is not necessarily an arrangement which is going to take place forever or be in place forever.
So what are they going to do?
Senator, that's certainly an arrange for RMS in New South Wales because they have other functions as well.
Your people. Oh, don't worry about it. You're doing my heading.
I can
come back to
detail on that.
Sorry,
Senator.
Mr. Schwartz might have a better answer.
Okay.
I was just for Senator. At the moment, AMSA employ in the order of 68 inspectors who are AMSA employees who are situated in those 20 offices around Australia.
Yep.
We have appointed external inspectors, so that includes people like state police, but we have a service level agreement with Roads and Maritime Services New South Wales to do inspections on our behalf, and we have 97 inspectors appointed with RMS, and we have a similar service level agreement with South Australia, and they have 12 inspectors who do work on our behalf. And then the other states have very small numbers. So there are...
WA, what do you do in WA?
WA has 4 inspectors, but we don't have a service level agreement. We have a memorandum of understanding for sharing information and
with
providing
Department of
assistance.
Transport and the police?
Police are automatically appointed as inspectors.
Yeah, but it doesn't mean that you take their advice.
They can do work on our behalf under the national system.
Yeah, but it doesn't mean you act when they make recommendations. That's been very clear. So, Chair, sorry, you're not going to argue with me, are you,
Senator?
No, you're not.
I certainly would not.
No. So let's go back to, it's just my last one, Chair, and I'm in possession of a letter from Minister McCormack to one of the other senators. And there's a paragraph here. You've got Mr. McCormack completely bamboozled here, but you have him saying, talking about from July the 1st of 2018, Marine Order 504, you know where I'm going on this one, Mr. McKinley, Certificates of Operation and Operation Requirements, National Law 2018, and specified the requirements for owners and operators of passenger vessels to include headcount procedures in their safety management systems, and the relevant excerpt is Schedule 1, Section 11, brackets 9, and it goes on to say, number 9 in brackets, for a voyage that is less than 12 hours long, so all those going to Rottnest or around the Great Barrier Reef or whatever, the master must A, ensure that at least one head count is conducted for all passengers on board the vessel, correct? And part B, know the number of passengers on the vessel at all time. So the minister's completely confused. You've got him absolutely stonewashed that this is the safest way to do it. Seriously, am I led to believe that AMSA is not even going to say you must do a head count at the beginning and at the end of the journey? Then we wouldn't have had Mr. Mills floating face down off of Fremantle for 14 hours or whatever it was before anyone found him.
Senator, as I explained at the last hearing, that requirement for a safety management system has to be able to cover a range of vessels. And for example, the example I gave was that the Sydney Harbour ferries.
Let's go back to the situation, Mr. Kinley, of the 1066. You seriously want us, even though you've baffled the minister, that this is acceptable as long as... And this joker had a safety management... He had the head counts in his safety management procedure. And you're happy to tell the minister and say, as long as they do one head count. So should we send the message out to all those operators of charter boats? As long as you do the head count when you get back to port, you're not going to get in trouble with AMSA.
Can I just ask a qualified question before you explain the sentence to them? What is the point of one head count?
Senator, it's at least one head count and knowing how many people are on board at all times.
No, that doesn't necessarily. Does it mean that the one head count has to happen at the start of the journey, not the end of the journey? If I make a head count at the end of the journey, you know, I work cattle every day I'm not here. If I don't count them going in, and I just count them going out, all I know is how many cattle I let out of the yards, not how many I put in. So if I count them off the boat, I know how many people I've let off the boat. But what assistance is that to anybody on earth?
Senator, as I said, the requirement is to do at least one head count and to know how many people are on board at all times.
Again, we got till 11, and I'm just the sort of fellow to stay here with you till 11. And we had a man over there where the evidence was he could have floated for 5 or 6 hours.
Yep.
And had there been a double head count, there's every prospect that man would be home with his family tonight. So I want you to focus. I'm asking you, and it's a reasonable question, what's the point of counting the people off a boat? What does that tell you from a safety point of view? What does that tell you? I can answer for you. It tells me that 10 people left my boat. So what does that contribute to safety? 11 people got on and 10 got off. But I didn't know 11 got on because it's not a condition. This to me defies logic.
And that is why we've had it in terms that they have a requirement to know how many people are on board the vessel at all times.
Right, so that's one condition. So then that means that the burden of the count is it must happen at the start of the journey. For them to know how many people are on their vessel at any given time during the course of a journey, would you accept that they had to count them onto the vessel?
Senator, there are various ways they can do it, and yes, if you count
tell me the other ways. Tell me the other ways. They didn't count them on, so how do they know?
There is new technology that is emerging where for example, there are potential of wristbands that can be put on people so that they can be monitored for falling.
You want to know something? We've been resisting the prospect of having a references inquiry into you and this safety issue. You're helping me. I've been resisting it. You're helping me because after a coroner's hearing and all sorts of other things, I thought enough. But you're helping me now. Take the boat where the young man died. Tell me how that captain could know how many people are on. He doesn't have a little ticket thing, and most of them won't have. How is he going to know how many people are on his vessel if he doesn't count them on board and make a log?
And this is why we're saying, Senator, that most of our effort is actually we've changed the safety management system requirements to actually have at least one head count, know where your people are, but we're also spending a lot of time on trying to educate these people and work with them on their safety management systems so that they actually understand the risks that are involved.
Well, thank you
in
for
their
that, Mr. Kinley. That was an absolutely useless answer. I'm going to ask the question again. I'll go a bit slower so you understand it, sir. How would the captain of that vessel had any idea how many passengers he had on board had he not counted them on to the vessel? And just think about it. You're an intelligent man, I assume. Tell me how he would have known how many people on the vessel, on that vessel, in those circumstances, if he had not counted them on board.
And my understanding is that they were counted.
I'm not interested in what your understanding is. My question is,
yeah,
how would he know? What other method would... Do you really not understand my question? I apologise, I shouldn't do that. Do you really not understand my question, sir? How else could he have known how many people were on the vessel unless he counted them on board?
And I understand that counting people on board and counting people off will give you evidence that you have the same number of people.
We're going to do this question time and time and time and time again. How else would what was the name of that vessel?
1066.
1066. How else could the captain of 1066 on that day have known how many people he had on his vessel if he had not counted them on board, sir? The answer is there is no other way. Unless he's got a satellite zoned in on the plank and it's automatically picking up the people's heads and counting them for him. There is no other way, sir. Is there?
Well, no, Senator, but...
No. And does he have an obligation to count the people on board onto his vessel?
Under the safety management system that the vessel had, there was an obligation to count people on and off and log that.